Buddy, welcome back to Dave's Garage. My name is Dave. This is where I teach people how to play the saxophone. No clarinet, no flute. Used to. I don't even own those instruments anymore. But I did. I decided that the best plan moving forward for me was to focus. Really specialize in saxophone. So I'm a specialist in saxophone. And one of the areas that so many of my students, adult learners and school-age students want to excel in is learning how to play a solo. So this is number 3, part 3 in a 3-part series about learning, or at least the kinds of cool tricks that pros know that you don't, that will help you to play a solo. Number 1 was on relative pitch. Number 2 was the importance of melody and what? Rhythm. Yeah, there you go. Today we're going to talk about another thing that pros do that you shouldn't do, but that you have to do in the beginning, okay? So the pro level improviser, pro level soloist, no matter what the music is, by the way, this works for blues, funk, rock, soul, gospel, church, jazz, you name it. Any music where you might hijack space and put a little solo in there. These techniques work across the board. Okay, so what the pros know that you don't know is that you can't think your way through this stuff. Okay, you can't go, oh, wait a minute, dominant 7, flat 5. Wait, wait? If I go down a half step, but then I go, no, wait, can't do that, all right? Except in the beginning, and that's the tough part. When you're starting out, when you're emerging, you have to think your way through this, all right? You have to, because you don't know it yet. So you gotta think your way through this stuff. You have to, and it's, I'm gonna tell you that it's not easy, and I'm gonna tell you to give yourself plenty of time, okay? What does make it easier is developing that sense of relative pitch, and if you don't know what that is, go back to the first in the series of 3 here. And memorizing melodies, being very good on your rhythms, okay? But in this case now, we're going to have all of this information that we have to think and we have to be cognizant of and aware of when we're soloing as emerging soloists. Okay, we have to actually go through all that thought process. And you might find that you're going to be making notes in your real book or scribbling things down. The late, great Joe Murillo wrote all this stuff in my book. I still can't read whatever it was he wrote. But the book is full of his kinds of notes like that. But you know, that might be what you do. And it's purely legal. You're a student. I've had cheat sheets. I've written things here. I've had little 3x5 cards on my music stand at jams. I've had anything and everything that it takes to remember this stuff. And there's another thing that you can do to help yourself memorize things, and that's, while you're driving, no horn in your hand at all. You're driving your car. You may not drive and play your saxophone at the same time. I'm sure that's like a ticket, right? Probably worse than a cell phone ticket. But my point is that you can memorize things. You can memorize your triads. You can memorize anything that you need to stick in your head. You can memorize dominant 7. You can memorize anything that you have, that you got to be able, like 1 and 1 is 2, like that fast. Memorize that stuff while you're on the road. Obviously pay attention while you're driving, but you can multitask, okay? But yeah, in the beginning, that's how it goes. But there comes a time and a place, and I want you to push the issue, but there comes a time and a place when you stop thinking your way through this stuff. When you realize that the people who wrote, these wonderful, wonderful songs, like here's a Billy Taylor piece, he wasn't thinking his way through that. He might have later on an edit, but the melody came out of his heart, right? It came out of here. It came out of emotion, and I want you to play from there. I want you to start playing from there. So at some point, after you really feel like you've got a leg up on that ladder of the technique and theory and the information that goes into creating music, I want you to just turn the music and don't look at it, okay? And play along without studying, without looking at your notes, without looking at the chords or changes or any of that stuff. Use your heart, listen, and trust that you have enough information. Now, if you don't, if in fact, you won't. I mean, it's like learning to improvise, learning to solo. Again, no matter the format, no matter the music. It's like sailing your boat out toward the horizon. You never reach the horizon. You never get there. It's always moving. So there's always stuff to do. And I find that when I'm playing with the guys here or doing a gig somewhere, I learn so much with stuff that I tried to do. I'm going to try to do these things, or I'm going to, incorporate some cool thing I've ripped off from somebody, or I've, ripped off, what language, borrowed from somebody, or that I have an idea that I would like to express in this language that we call music that didn't work. So I'll take a note, and that's what I'm going to take back to the practice studio with me. When I get back home, I'm going to take a note and say, tried playing this phrase in fourths. I'm just throwing stuff out there. And, my fingers froze or stuck or whatever. It didn't work, or tone was, whatever. Or my altissimo A, scared a bunch of kids and a small dog. So I take notes when I'm performing or practicing with other people, right? You should too, okay? And that's what we come back and we work on after we, reach that sort of that intermediate level where we're no longer beginning improvisers and just confounded with all the, like, oh my God. And YouTube is famous for having all kinds of hot licks and riffs and this and that and this and that, because that's what's easy to sell. Oh man, I don't really, forgive me, all you guys, all you men and women who put together the 3-point plan to play bebop or how to do a solo in 5 easy steps. God bless you. I'm grateful that you're there. I'm grateful that you're doing this stuff. All right, very cool. But my friends, you really develop this stuff with relative pitch, learning relative pitch so that your reaction time to notes is very quick, so that you can actually play what you hear in your head. Memorizing melody, being very, very keen on rhythm, okay? And ultimately, putting that shelf, that 48 inches of music books that you've got stacked in your head aside and playing from here. It's so much easier for me to teach you how to play invert scales or whatever than it is for me to tell you or help you play from a personal place, right? And that's why, that's what the internet is full of. Scales, riffs, cool, whatever. So, if you want to, you can even go to them and borrow one, but don't play them all off the page. I mean, take them around, move them around the horn, move them around on all the keys. Adjust them a little bit, change them, right? Make them your own. Make them feel emotionally good to you to express what you have to say, all right? Got anything else to say? Anything to add to this? I hope you do. I really hope to hear from you. 420 of you, I think, 418 of you, something like that. Just thank you all so much for being here. I enjoy our conversations. I enjoy our direct mails. So if you've got anything that you want to express to me, direct mail me. davegoodsax@gmail.com, davegoodsax@gmail.com, or leave in the comments below, all right? Good luck soloing. I know you can do it. Give yourself plenty of time and make all the mistakes on the planet. Make them all. Make them all twice. Make them all 10 times. Give my permission. Go do it. Go make mistakes, would you? All right. Catch you next time.